I want to give you one of the most important tips in the tenure track job search that I know of in terms of me dealing with the whole tenure track process and all of those things. And that is trying to make sure you don't lose yourself in the process. And so what do I mean by that? So I am going to encourage you to do all of the basic rational things that you're thinking of. Writing a good letter, tailoring those letters to the individuals. You could use ChatGPT now to do that. You know, combining both your understanding of how the world works with their understanding and tailoring that letter. You can use a great CV by making sure that you have outlined all of the different papers that you're working on and various different processes and different steps along the way. You can get good letters of recommendation. I encourage you to get letters of recommendation from people that are central to the field that everybody knows. And I just want you to know that the whole process, right? All of that. And then, by the way, what you need to do is to apply to probably 30 to 100 different places, right? And make a spreadsheet with an Excel spreadsheet, and you can get all different sort of sources to do that. And it's actually quite methodical in terms of how you do this. Now, you can also specialize in one application and give one application or two applications to various different places. But man, unless you are the belle of the ball, the person in the room that everybody wants to talk to, which for most of us, that's not going to be the case. You might know that you're the belle in the ball, you know, the one person that everybody wants to talk to, but most of us don't know who that is. It's not necessarily clear until you go through the process. So when you go through this, for most of us, I want you to not lose yourself. I want you to say it is a process and you are a good person. And coming back to centering, what is this about? Is this truly worth it? You know, is there other things that I can do outside of my domain that makes me happy and healthy? And I think, and I encourage you, not just think, I encourage you to think broadly, think experimentally, think in all sorts of different domains other than the sort of narrow way that you view yourself as being an academic doing research at a university. And I know that's easy for me to say, but it's also something that I've practiced and I've gone through and I've thought about. And no matter what you do, this is where I want to come back to this, is no matter what you do, you're good. You're okay with choosing that particular domain. That's the most important tip, is to realize no matter what you do and how you behave, this is you. And that's perfectly fine. There's no amount of having a rational process. There's no amount of spreadsheets. There's no amount of doing the right thing that's going to change that. And that's a hard thing to come to terms with as academics, as researchers. You know, I don't know if you guys watch this or you folks watch, but my family is all into Modern Family right now. We're watching old reruns. And the oldest, or the second oldest daughter, is a very smart person in an academic kind of person. And she just puts so much tension and stress on herself to do the right thing that you kind of miss out on everything else. And I think that's what I'm trying to say, is try to imagine who you are. Try to develop who you are. And no matter what area you go into, no matter what happens in your life, you're fine. You're okay. And as long as you do that, that's going to free up all sorts of opportunities. It's going to make sure that you look broadly. It's going to make you feel good throughout a process that is likely, for most of us, going to reject you. And you're not going to fit in. And you're not going to be the right person for the job. And everybody's going to look the other way. And they're going to quietly and ever so quietly just ignore you. And you got to be okay with that. You gotta be the person that's gonna say, all right, I'm okay. I'm gonna walk forward and I'm gonna take these steps, and it's gonna take a lot of courage, but I'm okay. And I think coming back to that, no matter what happens, what area of life that you're in, just coming back to being centered is, you know what? Do I really need all of this? The answer most of the time is no, but then you got to think about, how am I going to sustain myself and be okay? That's where you take steps forward. That's where you be creative. And that's where you start just knowing who you are. And I think that's an important lesson for all of us to take going forward. It's never going to work out the way that you thought it's going to work out, and it's going to be a giant mess, and you got to be okay with that. Don't lose yourself in the process. Know that it is not as rational as you think and you want it to be. And no matter how many spreadsheets that you have, how many times you apply, things just might not be the way that you think is going to turn out in your head. And you simply have to keep coming back to, I'm okay.